You cannot expect people to live like that, restricting themselves, not meeting friends, not being able to travel, and some of them have families who are apart, unable to reunite. So it can't go on like that.
In an exclusive interview, Singapore's health minister tells the Straits Times there could be an easing of restrictions on July 12th. This is the Straits Times Newsnight. Good evening, I'm Chow Suen. 12th of July, that is the date that Health Minister Ong Ye Kung has revealed to be the next major milestone in Singapore's reopening, which could include dining in for larger groups.
We said 12th of July,
Yes.
That's our next milestone.
Right.
Including for dining, now it's for two. So I hope more young people go out and have dates during this period. But come 12th of July, of course, we are looking at opening up to more people to dine together. Yeah. And whether there are other opening that we can consider, all those we'll think about 12th July.
Speaking to ST senior health correspondent Salma Khalid today, Mr. Ong said that the ministers are seriously considering further reopening on July 12th and beyond.
One milestone is 12th July. That really less dependent on vaccination, but just the fact that we got the clusters under control. Some opening, I think, is something we are seriously considering and monitoring the situation. Cases have been low last 2 days, and I believe today as well. And then 50% fully vaccinated, sometime second half of July. Then another milestone, 2/3 fully vaccinated, sometime around, plus minus, sometime around National Day. And beyond that, maybe we can reach 70%, 75%, hopefully 80%, I don't know. And especially if young kids start to be able to get vaccinated, that will allow us to go even further.
Looking beyond the next few months, what happens when COVID-19 becomes endemic in the not-too-distant future? Minister Ong highlighted a few psychological milestones that we all should take note of, including what would happen if you get infected with the virus.
Can we imagine a time where the default is to say, here's an MC, go home, isolate yourself, rest, and here's a bunch of test kits. You test yourself every X days until you are fine, then you can come out. Let your employer know, and your employer should allow you to just stay at home and don't demand your MC. That's a big change from now. That is part of endemic COVID. Can we imagine that? It's a big psychological shift, right? That's just one. Two is today you get an SMS, you're quarantined. Can we imagine a day where your SMS doesn't say you're quarantined, just say you are exposed, go home, get a bunch of test kits, test yourself, isolate yourself, don't move around too much, just go out for essentials, So quite a different concept, right?
Speaking of milestones, what about the one on all of our minds? When can we travel again? Minister Ong said that this will probably be the hardest one to achieve.
As we get closer and closer to the harder sectors, which is aviation, that will be the hardest. And in a way, the outbreaks that happened everywhere in Guangdong, it came in, Delta variant came in by air. Australia, same thing, a mix of different variants went in mostly by air, by travel. So every country had to grapple with this dilemma. You want to have normalcy, which means aviation routes must open, but you open yourself to it.
Speaking of travel, Phuket received its first tourists just today, including from Singapore. This is under the resort island's quarantine-free scheme as Thailand tries to reboot its battered tourism industry. But Minister Ong said that for Singaporeans, travel there will still require a stay-home notice.
In the end, when we differentiate between countries that are safer and countries that are risky, it is less to do with their own rules on SHN and their sandboxes, but to do with their general infection rates. And that is the first level. And that infection rate has a lot to do with their vaccination rates as well. And their control and their testing and all their pharmaceutical interventions. So today, I monitor every day and go to the websites. You can see where are the places in the world where cases are crashing, infection rates coming down, and those must be the places that we look at first, purely from scientific public health point of view.
Now you may be asking, so how low exactly do infection rates need to be? Minister Ong said that once a place's trajectory is downwards, with vaccinations going up and the infection rates at around 3 per 100,000, we should start looking at those countries seriously.
Now, before we leave the subject of travel, just one last question. So do you see Singaporeans being able to travel for holiday and leisure before the end of this year?
I certainly hope so, and I share that aspiration.
And the possible countries, as you say, are places like Hong Kong, Europe and the US.
As of now, but one thing I learned is that the situation changes every month. Whichever country or region is doing well this month, next month you are down at the bottom.
Now you can watch the rest of Minister Ong Ye Kung's exclusive interview on our Facebook and YouTube pages. And while Minister Ong was in our newsroom today, Newsnight, took the opportunity to have a quick little catch-up with him, where we find out, amongst other things, how Min Ong likes his coffee. Don't miss our quick-fire questions with Ong Ye Kung, so stay tuned. But first, here's a quick look at today's case numbers. There are a total of 10 new infections, with 4 in the community, all linked to previous cases. Of the 6 imported cases, 1 was detected upon arrival, while 5 developed COVID-19 during SHN or isolation. Indonesia's President Joko Widodo has announced emergency COVID-19 measures for Jakarta and Bali, 2 heavily populated places struggling with a huge spike in infections. Measures include tighter restrictions on movement and air travel, a ban on restaurant dining, and closure of non-essential offices. Indonesia has been recording more than 20,000 cases a day, and the government aims to halve the cases to around 10,000. The measures will start on July 3rd and go on to July 20th. Chinese people are the creators of history and the true heroes. Those are the words of China's President Xi Jinping, striking a defiant tone in a speech marking the 100th anniversary of the Chinese Communist Party. President Xi also had this warning for the rest of the world.
At the same time, the Chinese people will never allow any foreign forces to bully, oppress, or enslave us. Anyone who dares try to do that will have their heads bashed bloodied against the Great Wall of Steel, forged by over 1.4 billion Chinese people.
Now let's take a look at what's been trending on social media today. Who doesn't love a freebie? Believe it when you hear it, Shake Shack is offering free fries to its customers, as long as they have received at least 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. The only catch, you must buy a burger before you can redeem the crinkle-cut fries at any one of their 6 outlets here, from today to the 15th of July. Don't forget to bring along proof of vaccination, either your Trace Together app or a physical vaccination card. Just the thought of it is making me hungry. Longtime fan of The Simpsons? Then get ready for a crossover between the animated sitcom and the Marvel Universe. The Good, the Bart and the Loki is the all-new short premiering next Wednesday on Disney+. It sees Loki facing his toughest opponents yet, The Simpsons and Springfield's mightiest heroes. It's not The Simpsons' first Disney+ crossover, of course. You might have seen Maggie Simpson in The Force Awakens from its nap. Loving the ongoing Loki series, so I definitely can't wait for this one. Now, some 7.3 million, that's how many accounts have been removed by TikTok in the first quarter of this year, suspected of belonging to children below the age of 13. It's part of measures taken by TikTok to increase safety for minors on the app. TikTok said it has also taken down nearly 62 million videos for violating community standards, such as hateful content or those with nudity. Now, I don't know about you, but we are super capo. So while Minister Ong Ye Kung was in our newsroom earlier today, we took the opportunity to ask him some random questions and learn more about what he gets up to when he's not busy being health minister. Pfizer or Moderna? So we'll start with kopi or teh?
Kopi. Every morning I take kopi. Yeah.
So how do you like to take your kopi?
Kopi o kosong.
Very healthy. So fried carrot cake or prata?
Depends on which time of the day. Usually breakfast I'll go for carrot cake, lunch maybe prata.
Hard copy or online?
Oh, I'm quite traditional. I go for hard copy. I still read the Straits Times hard copy every morning.
With your kopi o?
Kopi O Kosong.
So Instagram or Facebook?
I must say IG has nicer pictures, but same company.
So have you thought about getting on TikTok?
No, I can't dance.
So calling or texting?
Texting,
Horror or comedy?
comedy anytime. I don't enjoy horror movies. Just watch to get yourself scared. Doesn't make sense to me. Not to me.
Do you have a favorite comedy film?
I like Friends a lot. Yeah, the recent reunion was quite cool.
So singing or dancing?
Probably singing. Can't dance. Otherwise, I'll be on TikTok, right?
Care to show us?
No.
Football or tennis?
Football. Yeah, I'm bad with racket games. I don't have a backswing, so football.
So weekends or weekdays?
What's the difference?
Do you have an ideal way to spend a day?
Exercise, work, eat, sleep. Yeah. Probably as ideal as it gets now.
And our last question, Pfizer or Moderna?
I took Pfizer, my daughter took Moderna, so just go and get, yeah.
Hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. It was fun chatting with Mr. Ong, and it's always good to see a different side to our ministers. Now that wraps up the Straits Times Newsnight. Keep safe, and I'll see you tomorrow.